within the application, working at your own pace to get that completed application, and just encouraging you to make sure that you do not wait till the very last moment or that application deadline to submit your application. And for admission criteria, the main admission requirements, sorry, let me see. The main admission requirements are as follows. You do need a bachelor's degree from a recognized academic institution, whether that's regionally accredited here in the United States or recognized by a Ministry of Education abroad. We do want those degrees to be standard to the equivalent of what the University of California offers for bachelor's degrees. Our next requirement is a 3.0 or B equivalent cumulative undergraduate GPA. And this is not a hard stop. Programs do consider GPAs lower. Programs are reviewing applications holistically, so they are taking all application components into account. But there are some programs who do maybe require that minimum or require a higher GPA. So we do encourage you to look at their website to see that information. The third requirement is English proficiency. So we do require that if English is not your first language or native language, that or you have not earned a bachelor's degree or higher, like a master's, from an institution where English is the exclusive language of instruction, as you would need to meet the English language proficiency requirement. And then the important tidbit of deadlines to apply. Now, you will see a lot of different information. Programs do have priority deadlines, which is available on our programs web page, which I have in the chat. We do encourage you to verify if that deadline is for your application only or if it's for your application and supporting materials. Any deadlines that programs have alerted us to, when you do select the program on the application, it should display a warning of what that deadline is to help you kind of keep track of that. We do also have general deadlines posted on our website, which there's a link in the chat as well. Typically, January 5th is our standard deadline, our advertised deadline for fellowship consideration, but there are programs out there that do set deadlines in December or maybe after the January 5th deadline. So again, always consult your program's website just to see what their requirements are. Our application does close if it's not posted on the page where you select your program. The cutoff is 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so please keep that into account if you're outside of that time zone. And then walking through the application section, I know this is a little heavy on information, but we'll go ahead and include the recording as well as a copy of the slide deck so that you can reference to this. We do have on the very first page is instructions. It gives you information about the program or the application itself. It shows you tools that are available after you submit your application. So it's a great starting point to review that information. We have our personal information section, and that's where you'll just give us more information about yourself, providing us details with your name, whether it's live name. We are asking for legal name now if you have one, a previous name, just personal identifying information, including race, ethnicity, your gender identity, address, just contact information is in that section. The next section is our general information section, and this is a very important section. And when you are going through the application, you do want to make sure that you do it in the order that is presented to you, as there is information that builds from one section to the next, and you may miss information. So general information is is where you really want to start your application, because you will be entering the term that you're applying for. So if you're interested in fall 24, on the entry term is where you will select that, and then it will drill down to the next pages on what information is presented to you based on that term selected. We do also ask questions about your California residency, your campus affiliation, whether you are a current, former, either UCR student or an employee. We also ask questions about grad prep programs, if you have any military benefits that you're planning on using. So other general questions like that are on that section. And then we move on to program details. And this is where you'll let us know, what program are you interested in applying to? What is that degree objective? If programs have areas of specialization or research interests, that will be on this page for you to complete. And as I mentioned before, if there are any published deadlines that we've received from programs, it will be posted on this page for you. Then we'll move on to your program specific questions. And this is where it helps us find out more information about your work history, and if you've had any contact with UCR faculty or staff, how you heard about applying to UCR, any other programs that you're applying to. And some programs may have very specific questions that are only for their program that you may see in this section. After that, we have academic history, and that is where you will tell us what schools have you attended since high school or secondary school if you're abroad. You'll be entering that information in there. You will be given kind of a widget that gives you prompting to type the name of your institution in. And if you cannot find that, then you would need to complete all information on there. But most US institutions are listed in that. And we recommend searching in that section. And I'll show you towards the end of the presentation how to find your school listed on there. After that, we do have information about testing requirements. It does vary by program that you select. So it will let you know as well if you do need to fulfill the English language requirement in that section, but it's just more instructional information for you. Our test score section is where you're going to add any test scores that you either have taken or will be taking in the future related to the GRE, the GMAT, if you're applying to the School of Business, English language exams, or like our TOEFL or IELTS. If you're applying to our online engineering program, we have our fundamentals of engineering exams listed on there. So after that, then the next page that you'll go to is where you'll actually upload any examinee score reports that you have, that you entered in Section 8. One of the next areas is references, and that's where you'll add recommenders. So you'll be entering, the contact information for a minimum of 3 recommenders, and you want to pick people who are best to assess your ability to succeed in applying to graduate school. One of the nice things about our online application is when you do complete this information and add that recommender, you can send the request immediately. You do not have to wait until submitting your application to request those letters from your recommenders. After the letters of recommendation section or references section, we have our supporting materials. And this is where you'll be providing any essays like our statement of purpose, our personal history statement, requests for resumes or CVs. Some programs request writing samples, or if there's any other program specific requirements that you need to meet, it will display in this section for you. And then we have 2 sections at the end that I lumped them together. We have a signature page, and that will give you information about the cost of applying, and it will capture your electronic signature of verifying that all the information you provided is correct for your online application. And then the review section is really a section that will prompt you if you are missing any information, and I'll show you that at the end when I log into the online application. If there's any critical missing information, that will display to you in red that you will need to be fixed before you submit your application. And anything that is in orange is optional, and it's just highly encouraged to provide that information. And then one of the important things, while it's free to start your application today, in order to have your application considered, you do need to pay your application fee. It is a non-refundable application fee. We have the amounts listed here. For domestic students, we are considering domestic students as US citizens, permanent residents, students with AB 540 or DACA status, as well as applicants who have either been approved for refugee or asylee status. If you're international, then you would require an I-20 or some kind of visa to reside in the United States, or you've only applied for permanent residency or applied for asylum or refugee status. The app fee costs are $135 for domestic, $155 for international for most of our programs. Our School of Business does have a different application fee with $155 for domestic and $180 for international students. And we do only accept credit card payments for our application. We accept Visa, MasterCard, and Discover. And I'm sure many of you are very interested in is that we do offer fee waivers. We have a page dedicated to that, and that was probably maybe higher up on the chat with that link to fee waiver information where you'll learn more about financial hardship fee waivers. We have a limited amount of those. They are only available to our domestic applicants. We do also offer fee waivers for students who have been past or current participants in graduate prep programs, which there's more information on the waivers page about that. And we do also have some programs that do offer to pay the application fee for qualified students. Their websites should provide more information about that, or if you don't qualify for any of the fee waivers I've just mentioned, it doesn't hurt to reach out to the program to see. It may be a long shot, but again, it doesn't hurt to ask. Now we'll go ahead and I'll talk a little more in detail about some important application sections of information that we're hoping that you will provide to us to make it easier to review your application. And that'll really start with your program doing that initial review and then making a recommendation to the graduate admissions office here in graduate division. So with transcripts and proof of degree, we really only want unofficial copies of those documents. Same with your test scores, examinee copies may be uploaded to support your application. So what we are looking for is your bachelor's degree, your first degree equivalent. We do want to make sure that if you've attended an institution outside of the US, to refer to our International Academic Records page, which I do have linked in the chat, just to verify that you are eligible to apply for graduate study here at UC Riverside. Typically, we're looking for at least a minimum of 4 years of education. There are a few exceptions. So again, I do encourage you to look at that page to make sure you qualify. If you're not sure, feel free to reach out to us or reach out to your program to see if your degree is not 4 years in length. We do ask that if you've participated, whether you've been awarded or completed a graduate program, that you list that attempt or completion on your application, even if it does not lead to a degree. And we do ask that you select the level of study as graduate when you're filling out that institution. We do ask for transcripts from other and non-degree programs, including like your community college, any transfer coursework, study abroad, summer session. Again, all of this is unofficial copies at the time that you apply. If you are admitted and accept, then at that time, we will request official documents and provide you with more information on how to provide those to us. Some important tips for like your dates of attendance is that we want to have those estimated dates. So when you entered the program to when you're actually completing it, it shouldn't be like today's date. I've attended up to this point in time. You know, if you're finishing the program in May of next year, then you would want to put May 2024 on there. If you're pursuing a degree or it's been awarded, that should be noted on your information for that institution. And if you do not see the type of degree that is being awarded to you, we do have other bachelor's or other master's degrees for you to select. For document uploads, we do require PDF versions, or it needs to be in the PDF format. Again, we only want those unofficial copies, so it could be scans of your original hard copy paper transcripts that you have in your possession. It could potentially be an unofficial advising transcript or one that you can obtain from your student web portal from your institution. Again, we don't want official hard copy paper transcripts or official electronic transcripts, but if we do receive them, they will load into your application. The one thing we definitely do not want are any degree audits. It does need to be an official transcript where it lists your courses in the order that they were taken along with their grades. And that will kind of segue into the next is when you do upload those documents, is just making sure that these 6 items are addressed in the document that you provide to us. So with your student information, it should include your full name. If you have a previous name, again, personal information is where you'll list that information. If your name or date of birth does not match with the document provided, we may request additional documentation to verify that this transcript matches your application. For institutional information, if you're downloading or obtaining, copies, it should have items that I have noted here, like your institution's address, their logo seal, if it's not a copy of official one that you requested. If you're loading it from a web portal, it should have some kind of URL or something that identifies that you obtained it from that institution. And then item 3 is talking about, listing everything on your on that transcript that shows all the coursework you've completed, the grades you've received up until the time that you've requested it, any units or and your overall GPA. Now, we do recognize that some institutions do not have overall GPAs on their transcripts, so it's okay if it does not, but it should list all your grades and units attempted and earned. For that, if your GPA is not on a 4.0 scale, then you will have within that area to list what that scale is. So I have some examples here on this slide of like 8.9 out of 10, or 18, 0.23 out of 20, you'll be able to list 18.23. And then in the next section, it's out of that total scale of 20. For that, you do have the ability as well, if you apply super early and you get your fall grades and you want to, show, hey, my GPA is improved, you do have that ability to upload that transcript and the program will be able to see that information on your application. We do ask for transcript legends as well, and they're usually on the back side of your transcript. Some may be at the bottom, depending on your institution, but please include those because it provides useful information about the grading system. Sometimes it includes information about accreditation. So it just makes the review process that much faster for programs and for our office to verify. If proof of degree is only required if your degree has been awarded to you. So if your degree was awarded before November of this year, then we do want you to provide proof that that degree was awarded to you. And it could be a copy of your diploma or a degree certificate if it's not posted on your transcript. Students coming from India, it may be a provisional degree certificate. And if that's the case, then it does need to confirm that you've met all the requirements to be awarded that degree. And then the final item on here is certified English translation, which you'll need to provide this if your transcript or proof of degree is in another language. So we do accept translations from the university or college, a government certified translator, a third-party credential evaluation service, as long as it is a exact word-for-word translation of your original language document. And then for test scores, if you are reporting test scores from ETS, our school code is 4839. These are the exams that we offer, which versions we accept, minimum scores, and then the oldest test date that is allowed based on, these are all based on applying for fall 2024. So for exam dates, we have, our exams, we have our general GRE exam, we take the test center at home version, 300 overall minimum scores, what we're looking for. Again, programs can request exceptions if it's below 300, so don't let that be something that stops you from applying for graduate study. We encourage you to talk to the program if they require the GRE. And again, look at the program's website because some programs are not requiring it, some are making it optional. Very few programs here at UCR are requiring it as to apply for graduate study. The oldest exam date we will allow for fall 24 is January of 2019. So it's a 5-year validity period that ETS is willing to report. If you're applying to our School of Business, I'd encourage you to check with the School of Business regarding the GMAT exam, but similar to the GRE, the oldest date we would accept is January of 2019. If you do need to fulfill the English language proficiency, then we do accept the TOEFL, which would be our the IBT or internet-based test, and that could be accepted from a test center or the home edition. We do require, and these minimum scores for our English language proficiencies are minimum scores. It cannot be lower than an 80 for the IBT, and the oldest exam date would be August of 2022. For the IELTS, we accept the academic at a test center online. We also accept the IELTS indicator. So those are the formats that we accept for the IELTS. For their minimum score, it has to be an overall score of 7, and the individual component scores can be no less than 6 for that. And similar to the TOEFL, 2-year validity period with August of 2022 being that cutoff if you're applying for fall 24. Exams that we do not accept at this time, we are not accepting Duolingo. We are looking to making that available to fall 25 applicants, as well as we do not accept the TOEFL ITP Plus, and we do not allow my best scores for the TOEFL to be used for applying for graduate study. And then kind of rounding it up with your letters of recommendation, we have our general guidelines here. We do require 3 letters of recommendation. That is standard for all of our programs. So you'll be entering contact information in for those recommenders. If you're applying to our School of Business Professional programs, they only require 1 letter of recommendation. So as you look at your application, each section will give you information specific to your program. For if you're currently pursuing an undergraduate, a bachelor's degree, or have recently completed one, then we're looking for, at least 2 letters should be coming from faculty instructors. They really should be providing feedback on your performance in either coursework or research completed. If you were in a graduate program, whether a master's attempted or completed, we do like to see letters coming from either your research advisor or faculty instructor. If you're having any challenges obtaining those or any of these, we do ask that you consult your graduate program applying to for alternative references. But really what we're looking for are letters that are coming from somebody who is in a supervisory position that can attest to your ability to succeed in a graduate program here at UCR. So depending on your educational history, we'd ask that you check with the program to see what would be appropriate letters in your case. Some tips, I mentioned this earlier, is that you can send a request to upload letters of recommendation before your application is submitted. We do have some self-service tools once your application is submitted. So if you need to exclude a recommender, if you need to add a new recommender, or update an existing recommender's email, you can do that yourself through the application. If you did not end up waiving your rights to review your letter of recommendation, then you will have to exclude the recommender and then re-enter them in, and noting that you're waiving those rights. And if you're not familiar with that, when you do enter your recommender's contact information, it will ask if you waive your rights to review that letter of recommendation. And depending on your response, recommenders may choose not to provide that letter, and you may have to update that information if you want to get a letter from that specific person. Our requirements for that is we only show letters of recommendation to new students who start. So that's after the 3rd week of classes. If you have just applied, you would not have access to letters, and we do not provide copies to anybody. It's just allowing you to see what that letter was submitted on your behalf. The only other item I have on here is just ensuring that you don't obtain letters from family members or friends unless they meet the criteria I mentioned earlier of being in that ability to assess you for that. And I'll go ahead and before questions, I'm going to stop and show you our application really quickly. And of course, everything timed out, so just give me 1 second. So when you do come to our page, we do have a list of all the programs that are open. If you do need to create your identity, you can do so here to create that account. And again, that email address, your first and last name, you want to make sure that this is the information that will be displaying on your application. To be able to see it, you could enter that information in. Once you submit, you'll get a temporary PIN to create your permanent password, and then you will be granted access to either logging in or starting your new application. And I'm just going to log in really quick. So that you can see that information. And you typically would not see this. But I have way too many test applications out there. So when you do log in, you will be given the option to starting a new application. Once you select that, you'll be prompted and given some information as to which period or sorry, a round that you're applying for. And it's really the year that you're interested in applying. So if you are applying for fall 24, you want to select the 24-25 year, and you can select that on this drop down here. If you're applying for winter or spring 24, then you'll select the 23-24 year. And once you select that, you'll just select create your application, and you'll open your application, and just kind of what I was presenting to you. If you have a bigger screen than what I'm displaying right now, it will show up over here on the right. But here are all the sections that we were talking about. Academic history is kind of a good one to show you. You'll have your information, but when you add this institution, this is where I was talking of entering your school name. So if I do Riverside, it will give you a listing of all these schools available. You may have to hit continue down here at the bottom to see a complete list. And if we're selecting UC Riverside, it's down here towards the bottom. And if you select that, it will pre-fill most of the information in. But if your school is not available, then you would need to type that information here and then fill out the rest of the details regarding your application, your level of study, as I was talking about the major. So, you know, your 8.59 out of 10, listing that information here, your language of instruction, uploading copies of your transcripts. All of this is available to you in this section. And usually at the bottom of each section, if you hit continue, it will take you to the next part of the application. One of the items I talked about was information of incomplete information. And this is where I was talking, anything that is required to submit your application will display here. And if you click on these links here, it will actually take you to that part of the application to then fill out that information. So there's a lot of information here. We will, save the video. And I guess this is a good time to go ahead and open it up to questions.
Thank you, Elisa. We're working really hard to answer your questions in the chat, so please continue to put your questions in the chat. But if you'd like to raise your hand. Elisa, is that okay if people ask questions?
Yeah,
okay, cool.
Definitely. I'll stop sharing. I'll pop it back up if we need to.
Okay, so let me just call on somebody. I don't know the order, but Nicole, why don't you go ahead and take yourself off mute and ask Elisa a question?
Hi, for the plant biology department, they offer a fee waiver, but they asked for the application ID number. I just am not sure where to find that on the application. If you could maybe help me find that.
Is it a form that you're filling out?
Yes.
Okay, I think that's based on our old application system, so we may have to update that form for the program. So if you could, if you don't mind messaging Annette
Sure.
privately, just letting her know your name and your email address, then that way we can make sure that's fixed and let you know once that is available, because it will prevent you from submitting your application.
Gotcha. Thank you so much.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. And James, would you like to take yourself off mute?
Yes, thank you. Great presentation. Super helpful.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. I think someone else put in the chat as well, but most of my research experience has been with institutions other than where I'm currently getting my education at. Is it okay for letters of recommendation to come from our research professors where we were at?
I think it would make sense, but it doesn't hurt to double check with your program. But if that's where you're doing your research at, that's understandable to request those letters.
Okay.
Yeah, whoever, let me just, James, whoever can write the best letter possible, that's who you should go for, right? That knows how you are as a researcher. So it doesn't really matter which institution in a way. It's whoever knows you the best.
Got
And
it.
professionally, right?
Right. And then a follow-up to that. You said 3. Is it okay if we have more? Does it impact if we have more than 3?
I don't think it hurts. I don't know that it weighs either way, but if you feel like there are more people to attest to your ability to succeed, you have that ability to request them from, 4 or 5 letters, whatever you think is appropriate.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That's great. I see another hand up, Alufemi, and help me with your name. Alufemi, you want to go ahead and take yourself off mute and help me with your name, please?
Yeah, my name is Olufemi Adedayo. Yeah, I would like to know when the application will open for mathematics, PhD in mathematics.
Yeah, I know we're working with them, so I'm hoping it should be open by the end of this week. You can work on the application, you just won't be able to submit it right now, but they're one of the programs that we should have it hopefully open by the end of this week.
Okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
That's great. Thank you, Olufemi. Thank you for the question. And James, hi, James. James, would you like to take yourself off mute and ask a question?
All right. Thank you, Dr. Lixa. Thank you for the presentation. All right. I just wanted to confirm. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. You spoke about the residency, but I would love to hear more about the residency concerning PhD students over there for an international students. I really want more of elucidation in that regards, please, if you don't mind. Thank you very much.
What clarification did you need on residency, James? Was it related to the application fee?
I was here during the last session, and I've spoken concerning the application fee, and I was asked to refer to the department or to the program I'm applying to. Already I'm applying to environmental toxicology. So they will be starting their own section tomorrow. So Tuesday I will be here also. Then I just wanted to know more about the resident for international students. Is there any provision for that?
Are we talking about like doing like a, sorry, I'm trying to understand.
He's asking about accommodation for international students.
Accommodations like housing?
Yes, like housing.
Oh, okay. For housing, it would be best to talk to the program because they could give recommendation. We do have on-campus housing. You can visit our housing website. I don't know, Laura, do we have them doing any presentations this week?
Yes, we do. Thank you, Elisa. I'm going to go look for it, but yes, we have a session with the international scholars, and I'm going to put it in the chat for you, and it's in the evening, so it'll be a little bit more accessible to all of you joining us from different time zones. So I'll put that in the chat.
Yeah, we have one on Wednesday for international student services, and then we have one on Tuesday for campus housing, and I can link those as well.
Thank you, Leah.
Great, thank you both. No. You're muted, Laura.
Suleiman, may you can take yourself off mute and ask your question.
Yeah, my question is that is there funding for PhD program in chemistry? And also, I want to know if a graduate in biochemistry can apply for a PhD program in chemistry department?
I would recommend checking with that program for that. I know we do offer a PhD in both biochemistry, and we also have one in chemistry, but I don't know if chemistry is having a session to see like what your background is and if that, is adequate enough to apply just to the chemistry graduate program.
We'll look for that chemistry session, Elisa. Thank you. And we'll put it
Okay,
in
thanks.
the Suleiman. I'm glad you asked the question, but we really want to make sure that you connect with the people during the virtual sessions for the departments you're asking about, because the programs have a lot of control about application deadlines and admission deadlines, and we really want to make sure you get the specific information for your department. So I'll put that information about chemistry in the chat. Thank you.
No, go ahead.
Go, Sanjana, would you like to go take yourself off mute and ask a question?
Hi, yeah. So I had two questions. One of them was I know you guys were mentioning earlier in the presentation about like the 4-year graduate stuff, like for undergrads, but I'm completing it in 3 years. Is that something that's like not really favorable, or like
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. I was just saying, like, I was like, I myself am a neuro graduate or undergraduate, and when I was looking at their application thing, they said that they would consider junior and senior year GPAs in their bullet points, but because I won't have a senior year, I don't know how that works.
Yeah, they would take it into consideration. So are you pursuing a degree that is normally 4 years and you're just completing it early?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. So you're here at UCR as an undergrad?
Yes, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So you would have a 4-year degree and you would be eligible for consideration. As far as what they're considering junior and senior, I mean, they can look at levels, but again, we're here to answer like the general application requirements, anything that's really program specific. If they're hosting a session this week and if it's already taken place, then I would definitely just reach out to them just to follow up to make sure how they would assess that, given that you're completing it earlier.
Okay. And also just like another question.
Sure.
So I haven't taken the GRE yet. Is it too late to be taking it now? Like, would I get the scores in time and everything to send in for my application?
And my understanding is it used to take about 2 weeks to take it. So I would check to see when you were said plant biology?
Neuroscience.
Oh, neuroscience. I'm sorry. The other student. So for neuroscience, I would just double check with them when their deadline is and kind of try to factor that in if it is required to apply to their program.
Oh, okay. So the GRE is like optional for some programs. Is that what it is?
Some programs are required. There's very few programs that are requiring it. Some may not be requiring it at all. So again, if you went to their presentation, they probably would have talked about it. If they did not, then I do recommend
there's still tomorrow. That's why, yeah.
Oh yeah, so I would make sure to go to that session, and if they don't address it, I would ask them then.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And Suleiman, I just want to follow up with you real quick. Chemistry is not, and somebody jump in if I'm wrong, but chemistry is not participating in our open house. Leah's going to check me there. But I would say please join the biochemistry. Please join the biochemistry session and see if you can get some information about faculty there. Sayed, can you want to go take yourself off mute and ask Elisa a question?
Thank you very much. Thank you, Elisa, for your wonderful presentation. I'm very glad to be here, and thank you all of you guys for providing this wonderful open house for all of us graduate applicants. I have a question related to the application, and in fact, I have some extra certificates from other parts of the university, and I think it can improve my chance of getting admitted and get financial resources. I'm just wondering if there is any part of the application that I can upload those certificates or not.
Usually, if there's anything in addition to what we're requiring on the application, when you do submit your application, you will be presented with your student status portal. And there you have the ability to upload additional documents. So if it's anything like additional information, certificates, you'll have that ability to upload after you submit your application.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mute again. Hi, Gloria. Special shout out to Gloria from the Sally Casanova Scholars Program. I can't see your picture, but if you're here, welcome. We're so glad you're here. And if I talk to you this Friday night up in San Francisco, I really enjoyed it. So Gloria, please email me directly about waivers for the Sally Casanova program. Thank you so much. Okay, let's see. I'm sorry, let me go back here. Let's see, Palumi, could you please take yourself off mute and ask Elisa a question?
Yeah, good evening. My question is with respect to immigration or coming with families. So do you provide visa support for dependents of graduate students? So I'm coming for a PhD. So do you provide visa support on one hand? Then on the other hand, do all PhD students get funding through the year? So if it's a 5-year PhD program, will graduate students get funding throughout that program?
That's a great question for the program to answer, but usually yes, funding is provided at the PhD level. In regards to your question about dependent, would it be an I-20, like you're interested in pursuing an F1 visa?
Sorry, I'm not conversant with the classifications, but I will be studying for PhD and I have a family. So can they come with me? And what supports? So aside visa supports, do you have maybe crèche or other support structures, housing for dependents?
There is family housing, and I would encourage you to attend the housing session to get more information about that. I'd also encourage you to get to attend the International Students and Scholars, because they would probably talk more about that. You can bring dependents with you. You would just have to provide verification of support to cover their attendance in addition to yours if you are getting an I-20 form for an F1 visa. And those are issued by our International Students and Scholars Office, so they can definitely give you more information about what services they provide related to issuing that I-20 form.
Thank you. And so there is a international student session from 7 to 8 on Wednesday. So please go through the registration link and update your registration link and register for that. And there's also a housing session too. So Leah, could you repeat what you said about the housing session too? And we'll put those links on there. Remember, with your open house registration, you can go back to your portal and you can update your registration to add these sessions. So if you're just finding out about these great sessions now on housing and international students, please go back to the email that you received and update your registration, and you'll be sent the link for those as well. Let's see. So let's see. Shyaman, do you want to go ahead and take yourself off mute and ask Elisa a question?
Hello, I'm Shaman, and I'm still in my final year of undergraduate studies, which will be concluded in this December. I would like to know, if I'm applying, what should I submit as my graduate certificate and transcript? Because my university do not offer partial transcript. So what can I upload in that section?
Well, if you would be able to upload transcripts, so if your grades are not available, if you're completing in December, then you would upload whatever grades are available. Since it's not before November, we wouldn't ask for proof of degree at that time when you apply.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Great question. And then I want to go to Somtochukwa. So thank you so much. Can you want to go ahead and take yourself off mute? And then also, can you help me pronounce your name?
Hi, my name is Somto Chukwu. Thank you for having me. Yeah, so I'm joining in from Germany, and I do have a question in regards to the GPA. So, um, so Germany has a scale of 1 to 5,
Mhm.
and it's actually reversed. So 5 is the
Yes.
lowest, 0, and then 1 is the highest, 100%. So, I don't know if this is something that can, easily be captured when I enter, my actual values. I don't know how it works.
No, you could still list it like if you have a 1.2 out of 5, you would list it out of 5, but we are familiar with that reverse scale. So when it is when we do verify your GPA, if it's in the cert group range, then we're ranking it high. So we are familiar with that, but it's a great question. Thanks for asking.
Okay, all right, thank you.
That's great. Thank you so much. Lisa has a lot, Lisa and Annette and everybody in the mission teams have a lot of experience with international students. So I'm glad you're asking the question, but and we're so glad that you're going to apply. Jacob, would you like to take yourself off mute and ask Elisa a question?
Yes, I have a couple of questions. This one is for everyone who's missed the first few minutes of this. Is there any way that we could access a recording of this video session?
Yes, we are recording it, and I'm sure we'll provide details, right, Laura, on how
Yes,
it'll be available to.
And also Lisa's going to repeat this session. Scrolling.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 12 noon, same time.
Oh, good. So yeah, so great question. Tomorrow, Tuesday, 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, we will have, Elisa will be here live as well. But yes, we will also record it and make that available to you. Thank you so much. Great question. Go ahead, Jacob.
Okay, and my second one, I'm going for the PhD program at for English. What is the typical length of this program with how many classes?
That would be a great question. I don't know if Perla is or anybody from English is giving an info session
Yes.
this week.
Okay. I'll put it in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Okay, thank you.
So Jacob, on Tuesday, from 3 to 4 and 4 to 5 Pacific Standard Time, the English department is going to be answering questions. So it's a great session to join. It's going to have faculty, staff, and graduate students from the English department. So that would be a great question for them.
Unfortunately, I won't be able to attend. I have class that time. So
okay, so I think I do want to Jacob, I do want to recommend that you do attend one of the sessions, because in order to receive the discount fee waiver for our graduate application, you do need to attend an academic session. So please make sure, see if you can attend a session. I know it sounds difficult, but if you could, well, just email us and we will, and we'll talk about it more. And also Leah is going to give you the information in the chat, and you can ask for an informational Zoom from some of the representatives from that department to give that specific information.
all right, thank you. I'll look this up.
Thank you, Jacob. Okay, so I've got more hands. We're about 12:55, and so we'll keep on going. I might Leah might have to drop off, but Lisa and Annette, what is your can you stay on for a little bit longer?
Sure.
So we want to make sure if there's a session at 1 that you would like to join, we'd like to let you know, please transition to that other Zoom. We will have a recording of this one in case you do want to go to another Zoom, but you still want to capture this information. So I think I'm going to go back to Suleiman. Your hand's still up? Do you have another question, or is that an old hand? Maybe that's an old hand. And Sabino, would you like to take yourself off of mute and ask your question?
Yeah, hi. I just had a quick question. If we're applying for a program, on the application it says for like the fall, but it starts in the summer, it's okay to put the fall, correct?
Which program are you interested in, Sabino?
It's the Masters in Education.
Which one? Are you interested in the credential program or?
Yeah.
Okay, so you will need to select summer.
Okay.
So under general information, you'll want to select summer 2024. And when you go to the program information section, you should see education, general education emphasis. Is it for multiple or single subject credential?
Single subject.
Single subject. Okay, so you'll select that program, and then you should be presented with MED, and then in research interest, that's where you will be able to select the type of credential.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's great. Thank you, Sabino. And I think I don't have any new hands up. Unless Suleiman, oh, let's see. Suleiman, how about Suleiman, if you're there, go ahead and take yourself off mute. But Syed, help me with your name. Please go ahead and take yourself off mute.
No problem. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Some departments within some part of the universities within the United States, if you apply for a PhD program, it is possible that they offer you a master. And it means that they don't see you a qualified applicant for a PhD program, but on the other hand, they see some potential for you to be considered as a master student. So is that an option, and is that one of the ways that departments process the applications within the University of California at Riverside?
It varies by program, but yes, some programs do. If they offer the master's and PhD, if you apply for the PhD and they feel that you're a better fit for the master's, they may make that recommendation. We do have some programs who ask that on their application in the program specific questions that, if you weren't admitted to the PhD, would you be willing to be considered for the master's? So usually programs do. We do encourage, do not apply to both degree objectives. If you're applying to one program, just apply to whatever you are hoping to get admitted into, because the program could always make that change after consulting with you if you're interested in pursuing whatever degree objective they feel you would be suited for.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I think we've answered all the hands, and and everybody, we were trying really hard to get the questions answered in the chat, but if we missed you, we're sorry. But if you want to go ahead and repost your question in the chat or take yourself off mute, we can go ahead and try. We'll probably be wrapping up a little bit. If no one has any other additional questions, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. But I do want to give you all a chance to repost your question in the chat or take yourself off mute and ask Elisa another question. We'll be doing this. Lisa will be doing this session again
Tomorrow.
Thank you.
Tomorrow 12 to 1 Pacific Standard Time. So
right.
If things pop into your mind as you're going through sessions and there's no other conflicting session, feel free to join again and get those questions answered.
Right.
Otherwise, Annette is great in posting our general email address, so you can always follow up with questions there as well. We're happy to support you during your application process, and any questions that we are not able to answer that are more program specific, we'll definitely forward those on to the program to answer.
Okay, so Elisa, we did get a couple more questions, but let me know if you need to pop off to another one. But Sakarat, Sakarit, please go ahead, take yourself off and help me with your name.
Yeah, Shakirat. Like Shakira. Okay. I'm from Nigeria, but currently I'm staying in Riverside, California. So I want to ask, am I still considered as an international applicant or domestic applicant? Because I'm staying in Riverside right now.
No, it would be based on what if you're from Nigeria and you require a visa to stay within the United States, you would be considered international. And you would have to pay the international application fee and fulfill all requirements related to that based on like schools that you've attended.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's see. Thank you, Sakura. Natasha, do you want to take yourself off mute and ask Lisa a question?
Thank you for the opportunity. I would like to know, I would like to ask that with evaluation, do the school accept evaluation of transcript for international?
I'm sorry, you were breaking up a little bit.
Can you put your question, Natasha, can you put your question in the chat for us? Thank you. Do you have access to chat? And Samuel, do you want to take yourself off mute and ask Lisa a question?
Yeah, hello. Good day.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah, thanks for this meeting. Yeah, I want to ask, going through the application, I can see a 3,000 character limit on the personal statement and other information and to put there. And I find that very limiting. So I need more information on that as to if I exceed the character limit, if that will be a problem, because having to streamline my write-up is kind of challenging anyway due to the credentials I have, yeah, and my research experience.
Yeah, it's a recommendation of 3,000, but we're not holding you to it. When you're uploading a document that supports that essay, there's no way to verify. So if it goes over, as long as you're addressing based on your background and it's adequately addressing that, it's fine to upload it that way.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And I think Natasha dropped off.
Okay, Favor, could you put yourself on mute, please? Let me see if we can do it. Okay. Okay. All right, everybody. I think we're going to wrap this up. Sakura, I haven't seen. I don't see your question.
I think it was Natasha that posted it. We did answer.
Oh, you did?
It looks like, yeah, that person did drop. Oh no, Natasha's there. So if she doesn't post it, feel free to email, or sorry, feel free to email us.
Okay. And I'm
and
sorry.
we can answer that.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries.
Everybody. Okay. So thank you, everybody. I'm going to put my email address in here. So everybody copy this down. This is our email address. So if you can see that, please make sure you email us. Oh, who could we reach out for more specific application process questions? So Sabino,
Annette just posted that our general email address. So it's the GRD ADMIS. And thank you, Annette, for that and for answering all the questions.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much. I'm so glad that Elisa Gutierrez, our manager, could join us. And Nat Menendez, who's also our admissions specialist here at UCR. And we're so glad that you guys could join us. So thank you, everybody.
Yes. Thank you. Have a good day.
And please
or
go
evening.
Evening. And please go to our grad division open house website. And you can also update your registration using the email that Leah sent you earlier. So have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you, Elisa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye. It's so lovely to see everybody. We really enjoyed having you here. And please join our other sessions.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Good day. Good night.
Bye. Good night.
And I really hope to see you in future sessions. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
I hope to see you soon, Ma.
Yes, I hope to see you as a graduate student here at UCR.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Ma. Goodbye. We love you.
You're making my heart swell. I'm so happy to see you all. I'm so happy that you're all here. Bye-bye.
Bye.